I think my dad really cares about everyone on the team, and he really feels for everyone, and he knows it's hard for everyone to be out on the road, and he does his best to try to make everyone feel comfortable and, take the team out to dinner every once in a while and, let them know that we really appreciate everything that they do, because it is a really big deal, and it's tough to be away from home and family.
Well, it's no different about America than a race team. We're all a group of people. If we can stay together, keep our focus, and be partners, that's what it's all about. Because even at the end of the day, if you lose, and you stand in that room and you know you did the best you can because you were teammates, even if you lose, you still won. You might not got the paycheck, because the truth is, after the paychecks are gone and the vacations are over, you're back to work. It's about the team. And that's really where I came from. Because if it wasn't for my family in the early days, my brothers and sisters, my mom and dad, if you'd not known what we had gone through, if we hadn't stayed together, we wouldn't have made it. Some of us could have starved to death or froze to death in the snow. We took care of each other. When I built a race car family, I did the same thing.
Well, as a kid, I remember I didn't quite understand the competition and the times and the ETs and maybe all that side of racing, because we were pretty little. But I do remember knowing how important his team was. He always talked about them. He brought them along. We'd always go out and do family dinners and bring the guys along if they were in town.
The main issue that everyone's got to understand is that there's a lot of people involved with our race car. There's not just the ones you see at the racetrack, they're the ones back at the machine shop, the ones in the chassis shop, the office people. And the cold hard facts of it is any one of this large group of people can do something that can cause you to lose. It can be as simple as that something wasn't shipped on time, or as monumental as the driver's performance. Any one of us, from the driver right on down to the lowest man on the totem pole's got the ability to make you lose. But it takes every single one of you to make you win. So you got to keep everybody focused on the whole idea that it takes 100% involvement, concentration, and dedication from everybody to be sure you put that car in the winner's circle. There just are no second chances in drag racing.
We work together as a team. It's not just John Force Racing and Castrol at the track. We're a team together at the track. We function as a team. When I'm there working with the guys, I actually feel like I'm part of the team.
There is no equal to the joy of winning, and when you see that car make that run that solidifies you in the championship, it makes all the problems and all the work and all the stress and all the things that are involved to make it happen, makes it all worthwhile in all one brief moment.
In the year 2000, there was a record out there, and that was the most wins in the history of the sport. I think it was 85, and I had tied it. Well, it was another Ford driver, Bob Glidden, one of the greatest all-time pro stock drivers. And I think it was at Chicago. We were thundering, they couldn't stop us. And the president, Tom Compton, was at the end of the racetrack, the president of NHRA. And he had followed me for like 3 races to see if I'd get that win. And that was quite an accomplishment to get number 86. And once again, all of that with the greatest oil in the world, Castrol GTX. We had a big race in Bristol. They put up $250,000 funny cars against the dragsters that had never been done in history. I was always there at the right time. I beat the dragsters there. I walked right through them, tire smoking final. It was a Superman car that's upstairs that I drove. It was another action collector car. And I beat the dragsters once again. Beat the big brother, that was awesome. I won the 50th year of NHRA. Coyle and I, we just had magic. And a great bunch of guys around us. My son-in-law was one of those guys that raced with me for 12, 13 years. Robert Height became a driver. Eric Medlin was another kid coming here at the age of 19 and went to work, and he was on his way to the rodeos to be a professional rodeo bull rider. Robert was on his way to the Olympics to become, these guys don't tell you this stuff, but to be a professional gun shooter. and trap shooter. And they all ended up with me. God bless them. We were unstoppable.
When John added a second team in 1996 with Tony Pedregon, it was ostensibly just to do some R&D work. It was only going to run 5 or 6 races a year, even though it had a full crew and a crew chief. They went out and ran the first 5 races of the season, and actually the second car beat John's car in the final round at Atlanta in the 5th race of the year. And all of a sudden, his comment to that was, I think I've hired my own assassin. And went on and finished 1-2 that year. And then the team rolled along for several seasons, and it was John and Tony. When Tony won the championship in 2003 and left the team, that's when the next generation concept kind of became clear to John. He was hurt by that move. He understood it because Tony went to race with his own brother, and he understands the concept of family. But he was hurt too because he had invested 8 years, and his impression was that Tony would be the guy that took over when he retired. So to guard against that happening again, that's when he started developing Eric Medlin as driver. He'd been a crewman, but he was going to put him in the car that Tony drove with his own dad, John Medlin.
Tony won in 03. John Force Racing kept the championship alive in our house, but Tony packed up and went with his brother. So there I was again. We got big problems. And that's when Eric Medlin was chose to go in the seat and to race with his dad. That's how I was selling him to the sponsors and keeping his dad. His dad was happy racing with Tony and the kid working on the car, Eric. But by putting the kid in the car, we kept everything good, and we never broke stride. We bounced back, but it was critical to get the championship back, and we did in 2004. A lot of fights, a lot of stuff, whatever it took to win, but we did it. We got there, and we got back in the game where we belong.
Eric became a very good driver, very sensitive in the seat, very skilled, very intelligent. But Eric's biggest connection was with the fans. He really connected with the fans. The people loved him. And I mean, he was just a very well-regarded person in the tour.